guys, BigGirls9 here, giving you another IPDL Season 4 video. Of course, we are in the midst of playoffs as we have 5 games, 4, 5, yeah, we got like 12, 13, 14, 15, 4 weeks left. After this week, as we are in week 11, facing off against Afonso, my man Afonso, and the Lisbon All-Stars, who are also actually currently in the run right now. As we speak, we are coming off a devastating, yes, a huge, devastating victory against Nick. I'm sorry, I do not have my paper in front of me, so I'm not knowing as much as I used to. Yes, we are coming off a 5-0 victory against Nick, and we just keep looking to keep going and keep burning on our way to playoffs. So, his team right now is Mega Steelix, Zeraora, Hydreigon, Heracross, Silvally, Gligar, Piloswine, Tauros, Infernape, Slowbro, Mimikyu, and Cradily. So, a very, very fun team. Especially seeing the Infernape, the Mimikyu, and probably the Hydreigon. Probably 3 of the scariest things on his team. Of course, there's other things like that Zeraora and Mega Steelix can prove to be a problem, but we will see how it goes. So, with that being said, let's get into the team builder. So, I am bringing Trifecta, our beautiful, beautiful Mega Beedrill, who's running Fellstinger, Poison Jab, U-Turn, Drill Run. Obviously, you should know me by now. Fellstinger is fun. If I can get up a Fellstinger, I can pretty much KO most of his mons. My big thing right now is KOing the Zeraora and the Hydreigon. It could be at times about killing the Silvally, depending on what typing that is, or it could be about the about killing the Piloswine. Either way, we just need to get that +3. Next up, we have Permafrost, our Choice Scarfed Mamoswine. You might be wondering, why Choice Scarf? Well, because it is. Just kidding. I know Infernape's going to be a big bring here, so I decided to run with Scarf. If he Scarf Infernape, that's perfectly fine. Good preps on his part. And it looks like Choice Scarf Mamoswine basically can win this game. I don't really see that big of checks, except for whatever the Silvally. I swear that Silvally could be anything, but you know, it is what it is. You know, Earthquake for things like Zeraora, for Steelix, for Infernape. We've got Icicle Crash for the Hydreigon, for the Gligar, possibly even for the Piloswine. But then again, that's what we got. Iron Head. We also got Iron Head for the Cradily and the Mimikyu, and then Superpower again, basically for things that that can take an Iron Head and can't take a Superpower. Next up, we got Wyandotte, our Fightinium Z Beware, running Drain Punch, Zen Headbutt, Ice Punch, and Thunder Punch. Again, basic math. If you take a -1 Fightinium Z with a Beware to half of his team, you will most likely KO it. And why do I say -1? Because to this day, I am thinking Parting Shot Silvally is a thing. And so, in which case, I also brought Ice Beam for the, or not Ice Beam, Ice Punch for the Gligar. I brought Zen Headbutt for the Heracross, Zen Headbutt for the Infernape, and Thunder Punch for the Slowbro. Next up, we have Steal Your Girl, the Registeel, running Earthquake, Iron Head, Stealth Rocks, and Toxic. You might be thinking, why such a weird EV set? Actually, you're probably not even thinking of any of this. You're probably thinking that I'm crazy. But there's a good reason to this. I decided to just even out the playing field with our EVs, because I need to take a hit on both sides, and I need things to really just go well with getting rocks up and then coming in and taking a hit. Again, Earthquake, Iron Head, basically for the things that I was talking about with Permafrost. If we can get a Toxic on the Slowbro, that'd be really huge. And then Stealth Rocks just to do incoming damage to things like Infernape and any Sashers that he wants to bring. Next up, we got Lafayette, our Go-Go, running Leftovers, Earthquake, basically for... Okay, so I don't know how stupid I am, but I'm pretty sure half of my Mons have a Ground-type move on it, and they're all for the same reason. We've also got Milk Drink, Horn Leech, and Superpower. Superpower for the same reasons as the Permafrost. And then finally, we have Calypso, our Flame Orbs Marvel Scale Melodic, our basic kill leader for the team, with Scald, Toxic, Recover, and Ice Beam. Huge thing, it's basically the same thing on, as last week. This thing pretty much can body Hydreigon. I mean, I'm not sure if it's a 2 or a 3 shot with, let me think, 2 or 3 shot with Dark Pulse, but it is what it is. I think he could be a Scarf Dark Pulse, Scarf mixed, but we'll have to see. Other than that, Ice Beam to threaten out the Gligar, Scald for the Piloswine, Scald because he basically has half of his team, is basically physical. So, with that being said, let's get into the team, or into the matchup. So, obviously, he does bring a lot of good things. He didn't bring Zeraora like I would have thought, but instead brings Silvally. I'm honestly shocked to see Slowbro. I didn't think it had that huge of a defensive advantage against me, but I mean, is what it is. So let's get into this. So I just started off with my simple rocks. Also, I'm actually going to turn this on to fast because this match is kind of 65 turns long. We're going to be here forever. So he misses a Dragon Tail here. He goes for the Earthquake on the first turn. Actually, okay, maybe not. Anyways, I go for the Toxic on the incoming Slowbro. A good prediction on my part. And then he goes for the Psyshock. And here's where everything pretty much just kind of goes very badly. I end up going for the Earthquake there, predicting the Infernape. He gets the rocks up, or he gets the rocks out, and goes back in the Slowbro. I go for the Scald. Scald does a really decent amount. And I decide to switch back in to my Steelix, knowing that the Psyshock is coming. I then go for my rocks. He goes into his Gligar. Oh, I go for the Earthquake, my bad. Because for some reason, I feel like the biggest thing right now is to get rid of that Infernape. That Infernape really looks threatening against my team at this point, and I'm not allowing him to get rid of those rocks, in which I'm just going to keep going for Stealth Rocks. I'm basically saying that you need to get rid of me in order to get rid of these rocks, which perfectly fine. So I go into Trifecta. I U-turn, thinking that he's going to switch out into his possibly his Slowbro to tank a Poison Jab or anything like that. I could have easily at this point went into Beedrill, but I feel like Gligar is basically too big of a threat for me to just look away from. I believe as I'm breaking this fourth wall, Gligar has had 3 kills this season, or this game. 1 against the Registeel, and then I think 2 coming up. I'm not 100% sure. I don't have my kill paper, so it is what it is. So in comes the Hydreigon. I go for the Horn Leech, and if I would have went for the superpower there, this thing would have been less of a problem. I then go for the superpower, not expecting the U-turn, but more expecting a flamethrower. And I just go for a simple milk drink. He then goes for the knockoff. Still not very effective because he got rid of my leftovers about 5 turns ago. I go into Calypso. He knocks off my Flame Orb. I'm perfectly fine with this. But then he goes into a Silvally Water, which kind of confused me why he was water, but I was still perfectly fine. He later said it was because of Victini, which he thought would have been brought. But so I'm gonna skip through these couple turns. As you can see, it's basically just a Slowbro versus a whole bunch of different things. I personally need to think about how I do things with my Toxics, because the more as you can see, the more I am thinking about where he goes, the more I kind of tend to predict his place. Like I think it was this turn. This turn, I actually hit the Toxic on him, and I'm finally credited with the comment of good play. And I was so close of clicking Ice Beam here, but I decided not to. But then I did. Of course, we are -2, so that basically does a whole lot of nothing. I go into my Wyandotte, and while Dark Pulse isn't going to do much, I go for the Ice Punch, and Psyshock is going to hit the Calypso here. I'm going to go for the Recover, I believe, on the Silvally. Yeah. He Parting Shots right into the Slowbro, and goes back into Demigod. He Parting Shots right back into right into the Infernape, which was very cool. Now, if Earthquake actually crit here, this thing wouldn't have been that big of a threat. I was basically freaking out. I was like, alright, come on Calypso, please live a hit. Well, here comes the Z Gigavolt, just for that melodic. Bang, 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 we livin'. Bang, bang, bang. Calypso gains another kill. And I believe that's Calypso's 15th on the season, but I could be wrong. 13th. My stuff needs to be updated. Anyways, back to the match. I then go for the Thunder Punch, and he goes for the Psyshock, ending up killing me. So I go back in my Trifecta. I then go for the U-turn, I believe. Yep, I kill him. I go into Mamoswine. If I would have went for the thing, I feel like he would have been more scared out, but it is what it is. He goes for the Heavy Slam. I simply go for the Earthquake. The first crit really did matter, so I'm very sorry about that. And then I go for the EQ, getting as much chip damage. He goes for Psyshock. He thinks he has the game won because I have basically U-turn. Nope. I show the Felt Stinger. In comes this thing. This thing should not live. Yeah, I was wrong. Now, thing is, if I had knockoff on this thing, I would have been a lot better. But it is what it is. I mean, I really just, I couldn't be mad. I think personally that this match was one of my best matches. Like, if I look at this, I see an Afonso. I see a great Afonso. If you look up under the replays, on Pokemon Showdown, under BKilmer9, you will see that out of all of my matches with Afonso, I think this one was the closest, and this one was more strategy than looking at something and being like, okay, let's just click this and see what happens, which I tend to do in some of my matches. Sad enough, but of course, it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a game. I'm not mad. I know that. He really did play a good game around Slowbro and I can't forget his name, Savali. And then finding a good way to get Infernape in. So good game to you, my dude. Of course, this does lead us a game behind Saigai for first place, and then Agronix falling in fourth behind Trainer, who is a game behind me. So as we get more into these weeks, you're gonna see more aggression, probably. I mean, maybe besides week 14, but it is what it is. Next up, we face up against Leafy and the Toronto Razor Leafs. So, with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you are new, because you're this is the second week in a row I probably messed this up. Because your support is definitely appreciated. And until next week, peace out, Mikuins.